I am young Homer, here to guide you further into the rise and fall of Zeus. Tonight we continue Series 10, The Fall of Zeus, End of the Reign and Legacy, with Episode 85, The Rise of New Religions. Zeus fades from memory. In this tale, we see the ancient world turning a new page as fresh beliefs and faiths take hold across the lands. Mortals who once called upon Zeus and the gods of Olympus now look to new symbols of hope and guidance. The temples once devoted to Olympus fall silent, and statues of the old gods stand weathered and forgotten. For Zeus, this shift marks the final stage of his reign, the slow, gentle fading from the hearts of humankind, who now carve new paths in their search for meaning. This is a story of endings and beginnings, a reminder that even legends may one day pass into quiet memory. As we enter this tale of transition and acceptance, allow yourself to settle deeply into the warmth of your bed, feeling safe, grounded, and fully at ease. Close your eyes if you wish, and take a slow, deep breath in, letting calm flow through your chest, as steady as the quiet rivers that run through timeless valleys. As you exhale, release any remaining tension, allowing your body to grow heavy, sinking into rest and stillness. This is your time to let go, to rest, and to find peace. Now, focus on the gentle rhythm of your breath, each inhale and exhale as constant as the flow of history itself. Take a slightly deeper breath in, letting it fill you completely, and hold it softly for a moment. Then, as you exhale, feel any tightness dissolve, leaving only warmth and tranquility. One more time, breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, feel yourself sinking further, calm and serene. Now, let's guide each part of the body to soften, inviting rest with every breath. Start with your forehead, allowing it to relax completely as you exhale. Move to your jaw, releasing any tightness, letting it rest softly. Now, bring awareness to your shoulders. Inhale deeply, then let them fall, as though letting go of the weight of ages. Allow your arms and hands to grow heavy, resting peacefully by your sides. Notice the steady rise and fall in your chest and belly, inhaling as your belly rises, and on the exhale, releasing any last bits of tension, feeling light and free. Shift your focus to your hips and thighs, letting them sink deeper into the bed, fully supported and relaxed. And finally, bring attention to your calves, feet, and toes, allowing them to release completely, grounded and calm. Now imagine yourself standing within the quiet ruins of an ancient temple, where columns once grand now hold only whispers, and sunlight filters gently through the open spaces. In the distance you see Zeus, his gaze soft and peaceful as he looks upon a world he once ruled. He feels the quiet of this new age, watching as mortals build their lives upon new foundations. The echoes of Olympus linger like shadows, fading gently into memory as the legacy of Zeus becomes a story woven into the fabric of time. With each breath, feel yourself surrounded by the calm strength of this moment, as though you too understand the quiet beauty of transformation and remembrance. Inhale deeply, letting the calm and depth of the scene fill you, and exhale, feeling grounded, steady, and fully at ease. With your body relaxed and your mind open, allow the story to carry you into this world of change, acceptance, and timeless peace, where even the greatest kings rest within the arms of memory. Take one last deep breath in and let it out softly. Now, let us begin. As the old gods faded from mortal memory, a new age of belief began to take root across the ancient world. Mortals, once bound by fear and reverence for Olympus, started to explore questions of existence, virtue, and the meaning of life beyond the realms of Zeus and the gods. Thinkers and philosophers who championed reason, virtue, and personal understanding rose to prominence, inspiring a generation eager to understand their place in the cosmos without relying on divine favor. In Athens, Plato, a student of Socrates, established his academy, a place where students gathered to seek knowledge not through the gods, but through logic, discourse, and critical thinking. Plato's teachings encouraged a view of reality that transcended the whims of Olympus, a vision of an ideal world built on justice, wisdom, and virtue. His famous allegory of the cave illustrated humanity's search for truth, not in the shadows of gods, but in the light of knowledge. Through him, mortals found hope in the power of the mind, the soul, and the pursuit of eternal truths. Further east, Zarathustra, a prophet from ancient Persia, introduced the belief in Ahura Mazda, a singular god who embodied light, wisdom, and truth. Zarathustra's teachings spread, offering mortals a new spiritual framework that focused on personal choice between good and evil, a balance of moral duality rather than a pantheon of gods. Mortals, captivated by the simplicity and clarity of Zarathustra's vision, began to embrace Ahura Mazda's teachings, finding purpose in a god of light rather than the complex, often conflicting gods of Olympus. Across the ancient world, these new ideas spread, each one a quiet rejection of Olympus, a signal that humanity was searching for meaning and guidance beyond the traditional pantheon. Zeus, from his high throne, watched as mortals turned to new ideals, each one drawing humanity further from his grasp, replacing fear of divine power with faith in inner wisdom. As mortals found their own path, the influence of Zeus and the gods became a distant memory, their names fading from mortal lips. In lands far beyond Greece, a new concept of divinity began to take hold, one of a single all-powerful God rather than a pantheon of competing deities. This belief in monotheism began to reshape spiritual life in regions previously untouched by Greek gods. The Hebrew people, for instance, carried with them a faith rooted in the worship of Yahweh, a God who was omniscient, omnipotent, and morally absolute, guiding his followers with a sense of purpose and covenant. The Hebrews' devotion to Yahweh stood in contrast to the fragmented loyalties of Olympus, where each god ruled over a different aspect of life and nature. Yahweh's teaching centered on justice, mercy, and loyalty to one God, a revolutionary idea that resonated with mortals who yearned for unity and moral clarity in an often chaotic world. Temples, sacrifices, and hymns dedicated to Yahweh replaced those once offered to Zeus and his kin. The people who followed this monotheistic path saw in it a purpose and dedication that transcended the capricious nature of the Olympian gods. As Yahweh's worship spread, Zeus felt his own influence wane. Mortals who once revered him now turned to a god who demanded not offerings of wealth or strength, but moral integrity and faithfulness. The rise of monotheism marked a turning point in human spirituality, a shift away from the old pantheon toward a unified, more personal concept of the divine. In the lands to the east, yet another form of spiritual awakening was emerging, a path not focused on the worship of gods, but on self-realization and liberation from suffering. Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha, taught that enlightenment could be achieved through understanding, compassion, and a disciplined mind. His teachings of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path encouraged mortals to seek freedom from suffering within themselves, rather than through appeasing divine powers. Followers of the Buddha turned to meditation, self-reflection, and ethical living to reach nirvana, a state of liberation from the cycle of rebirth and suffering. The appeal of Buddhism spread quickly, providing a new perspective that mortals could follow without reliance on supernatural beings. In these teachings, mortals found solace in their own strength, their own capacity for transformation, independent of the favor or wrath of gods. To Zeus, the concept of enlightenment was foreign, a pursuit that neither required nor honored the power of Olympus. The followers of the Buddha did not seek favor from the heavens. They sought peace within themselves, a journey that marked the ultimate departure from traditional worship. Mortals no longer looked to the sky for guidance. Instead, they looked within, finding a divinity that was personal, quiet, and free of divine intervention. The rise of Buddhism further distanced mortals from Olympus, replacing divine worship with a spiritual journey grounded in self-discovery and inner peace. As new beliefs spread, mortals began to turn to human prophets and visionaries for spiritual guidance, figures who embodied ideals of faith, wisdom, and virtue rather than divine power. Among them was Pythia, the last great oracle of Delphi, who shifted her focus from delivering divine commands to sharing philosophical wisdom with those who sought answers. Rather than relaying the will of Apollo, she encouraged her followers to find purpose in reason and reflection, helping them to embrace personal responsibility over divine fate. In Rome, A visionary named Virgil crafted a poetic vision of the mortal journey in his epic, the Aeneid. Virgil's tales did not focus on the favor of gods, but on the heroism, resilience, and virtues of mortals navigating their own destinies. Aeneas, his protagonist, represented a new kind of hero, a figure guided by human values rather than divine intervention. Mortals found inspiration in Virgil's verses, drawn to the idea of a noble life defined not by the gods' blessings, but by courage, loyalty, and honor. Prophets and storytellers became the new spiritual guides, their words inspiring mortals to look beyond Olympus and see themselves as masters of their own fate. Through poetry, philosophy, and prophecy, they offered an alternative to divine worship, a path to meaning that lay in human experience rather than divine will. Zeus watched as mortals, inspired by these leaders, drifted further from Olympus, finding strength in their own values and beliefs. These mortal guides replaced the gods as symbols of wisdom and virtue, their words resonating with humanity in a way that Olympus no longer could. On Olympus, the silence was deafening. Zeus, once surrounded by the loyalty and devotion of mortals, now found himself isolated, the voices of prayer and praise fading into memory. He felt the weight of an era ending, each abandoned temple, each empty altar, a reminder that his power was no longer needed. Zeus could feel the gods around him growing distant, their own domains quieter as mortals turned away from them as well. In his solitude, Zeus pondered his own legacy, the rise and fall of a kingdom that had once stood unrivaled. He remembered the days when mortals looked to him with awe, when each storm and each bolt of lightning was a reminder of his rule. But now, with mortals finding faith in new ideas and higher purposes, he understood that his era was ending, that he and the gods were becoming legends, not rulers. The world below moved forward, leaving Olympus to echo with the memories of a kingdom that had once been revered. This was not a defeat born of battle or rebellion, but of time and change, a peaceful, bittersweet fading of the gods from mortal life, a descent not into chaos, but into history. Zeus's isolation marked the true end of his reign, a quiet descent from power as mortals embraced new beliefs. Humanity moved forward, embracing new beliefs, values, and visions that Olympus could not offer. The teachings of Plato, the faith of the Hebrews, the enlightenment of the Buddha, each new path opened doors that the gods of Olympus could not enter. Mortals crafted societies, philosophies, and stories that resonated with their own aspirations, each one a reflection of a world built on human resilience, curiosity, and purpose. As Zeus faded into legend, Olympus became a place of memory, a realm where gods were remembered as figures of inspiration rather than as rulers to be feared. Mortals found new heroes in prophets and philosophers, new sources of strength within themselves and each other. And though the names of Zeus, Hera, and Athena would live on in stories, the power they once held over mortal lives had passed into myth. Olympus, once a kingdom of gods, became a relic of a time when mortals believed they needed divine intervention to survive. Now, they saw themselves as capable, courageous, and resilient, ready to face the world without Olympus watching over them. The gods had become shadows, stories, and symbols, living on in the hearts of those who would remember them not as rulers, but as figures from a distant, powerful, and timeless myth. The world had moved beyond the gods, and in this new era, mortals walked their paths without Olympus lighting the way. But even as Olympus fades, a final story remains. Join us in the next episode as we explore the tale of Hercules, a mortal son of Zeus who would ascend to the heavens and challenge the gods' legacy one last time. Discover how Hercules' journey from human to divine would leave an enduring mark on Olympus, bridging the world of mortals and the fading realm of the gods. Until we meet again, may your path be filled with peace, strength, and a touch of magic. I'm young Homer, and I look forward to our next story together.